Hey, what time is it? By the look of the clock, it's barely 5:30, but it's not even 5:30 yet. Why are you awake like this so early? With drowsy eyelids, I responded, but Jasper persisted unabated. You mean that it's 5:30 still? It makes sense that the wife would put on makeup, make breakfast, and get up earlier than the husband. When Jasper started yelling in the morning, I couldn't believe what I heard. It read like words from an ancient drama about a cruel mother-in-law, and I wondered what era we were in. Since I married Jasper, we'd shared separate beds and had very little nighttime intimacy. Then one day, Jasper collapsed at work and had to be rushed to emergency surgery. While waiting outside the operating room, I heard a young doctor scream, "What on earth is this?" Through this surgery, I learned Jasper's surprising secret and realized how difficult my position really was. I knew I could not go on as I was, and with the help of others, I recovered my true self. Elizabeth is my name. I'm a 42-year-old housewife who helps out at a small company. I used to work as a hospital caretaker when I was unmarried. Despite having a rewarding career, I was the only buddy in my group without a spouse. I felt under pressure to get married because my parents had already both gone away, leaving me alone at home. Then, one day, when I was alone at a pub, a man came up to me. "Well, is this seat taken?" Jasper, the guy who would become my husband, remarked as he walked up. Jasper, who is 3 years my senior, is an independent small business manufacturer. After hearing his narrative, I realized that, like myself, he was single and didn't have a significant other. As two adult single people, we clicked as we told each other tales about our lives. Though I had intended for a semi-romantic evening, I returned home early that day, making him swear to see me next. We went on dates once a week after that, and our relationship just kind of happened. Jasper was a serious, reticent man, and their dates usually involved quiet talks in parks or cafes. On our third date after meeting, he commented, "Well, given our age and all, it's not really ideal to just keep dating aimlessly, right?" I was captivated by his supposedly laid-back style over time. I noticed Jasper fidgeting slightly while he spoke, and that made me feel a little excited. "Well, we've only been dating for a little over a month, but given our similar ages, I thought it would be a good idea for us to get married. Is that acceptable?" "Yes, absolutely," I quickly said, feeling under pressure to marry Jasper, although I believed he was a decent man and that this was definitely an odd proposal. I would be delighted to. After I quickly accepted, Jasper was delighted. We opted to register our marriage instead of having a wedding ceremony because neither of us had parents. After we were married, I left my work to assist Jasper at his business, starting our married life together. But it was also the beginning of days of suffering. Throughout our relationship, Jasper and I had not shared any intimate physical contact until after we were married. I had believed that Jasper, being a serious guy, just didn't get into partnerships for fun. I thought we might have a very regular married life once we were married. I thought that to be true. However, on our wedding day, Jasper made an unforeseen promise. "I'll sleep in the bedroom, so, Elizabeth, you sleep in the extra room." "So you mean we sleep separately even though we're newlyweds?" I said in a surprised and unsatisfied tone. Jasper did not even blink an eye when I questioned it. He just said, "Well, you see, I have difficulty falling asleep in the same room as others." I couldn't say anything more on the first day since I didn't want to quarrel even if I didn't agree with his reasoning. The next morning, I had set my alarm for 6, but I was startled awake by sudden loud voices. "Hey, what time do you think it is now?" I said, glancing at the clock. "It's only 5:30. How come you're up so early?" Jasper persisted unrelentingly, saying, "What do you mean it's 5:30? It makes sense that the wife would put on cosmetics, make breakfast, and get up earlier than the husband." That kind of yell in the morning from Jasper made me question my hearing. It seemed like something from an ancient play, and I wondered what age we were living in. Though I had that notion, there was a look of fear on Jasper's face that I had never seen before. Sensing that there was no way I could resist, I changed quickly and got to work on cooking. We may have separate beds, but we still eat together, which may seem apparent. I saw something when we were facing each other at the dinner table. Jasper was dressed for July, but he had on a long-sleeve sweater. I decided to ask Jasper if I should be getting summer clothing ready for him. "I'll have your summer clothes prepared soon," I said. Jasper, who appeared to be choking on his meal, quickly coughed in answer to my query, saying, "No, I dress like this all year round, so I'm fine without summer clothes. You know how sensitive I am to the cold. With the air conditioning in the next season, it's simple to get cold, right?" It makes sense if he is susceptible to the cold. However, there's no need to hurry in such a manner, I reasoned. I was at a loss for words, yet it seemed a little strange. Since then, Jasper has urged me to be back home by evening to prepare dinner, even though I still go to work in the morning to assist the firm. As a result, I always arrive home early. Jasper gives detailed instructions not only about meals, but also about cleaning and laundry, so I don't have time to relax even when I come home early. I clean every corner of the house, neatly fold the dry laundry, and tidy up. Since getting married, it's become my routine to prepare dinner and take a bath before Jasper returns. Jasper is the old-fashioned type of husband who doesn't lift a finger to help around the house. I understand he's busy as a manager, but I wish he'd lend a hand with the housework at least a little. But if I say anything that might upset Jasper, he might start yelling again. I was wondering to myself, why did I even get married when I was making dinner? Since then, we haven't had a nighttime closeness because our bedrooms are now apart. Despite the high dreams we had when we were married, I am not pleased at all. Maybe I've lost my sense of who I really am in addition to my happiness. These ideas overpowered me to the point that I started crying uncontrollably. About 5 o'clock in the evening, my phone rang when I was sitting there sobbing by myself. One of my female coworkers gave me a call. "Elizabeth, get in a hurry. Please proceed immediately to the hospital as the boss unexpectedly passed out." When I heard this, I was unable to speak. The coworker gently told me the name of the hospital after noticing my worry. I thanked her, trying to gather myself, and phoned a cab right away. When I got to the hospital, I was led to Jasper's operation room. I sat down on the chair that was set out there after I was told to wait outside the door. The treatment room door opened, and a seasoned doctor who looked about Jasper's age came out. I got up and went over to the doctor. "Pardon me, this is Jasper's wife. What is the state of my husband?" "You're his wife, I see. Although your husband's health is steady, he must be admitted to the hospital right away in order to have surgery." "Are you serious?" "I understand. All right. Many thanks for that." Having said hello to the doctor, I only finished the hospital stay and operation before leaving for home without seeing Jasper. I should have stayed at his side normally. I had not developed an emotional connection with Jasper, so I couldn't bring myself to go with him, even if the nurses and physicians would have thought I was being heartless. Rather than being there for Jasper before the procedure, I went to the hospital on the day of the procedure about the time it started. I heard cries coming from the surgery room while I waited outside. Someone said, "Yikes, what on earth is this?" "What are you saying? Obviously you're a doctor." Was that someone yelling? The assistant physician? The attending physician made an effort to reassure the nervous young doctor. In spite of this, the young physician answered in a barely audible voice, "Even if you say so, this is the first time I've ever seen such a magnificent tattoo. How should I proceed?" "Remain calm." The attending physician reassured her that it wouldn't impede the procedure. What in the world was causing all the agitation? The sound of the voices could be heard outside the operation room because they were so loud. I seem to recall something about someone mentioning a tattoo. Even though the assistant didn't appear trustworthy, the attending physician's assured manner gave me comfort, so I waited for the procedure to be finished. When the procedure was finished a few hours later, 2 physicians emerged. Earlier, there had been a young doctor in his mid-20s who had yelled. It seems that he had witnessed something disagreeable. I had said hello to the attending physician yesterday. He was a senior physician. The attending physician was looking at the young doctor with somewhat of a pity face. After all, he did appear like a pampered son of a wealthy family. I got up and turned to face the chief physician. The young doctor next to him gave me a deep bow and apologized profusely, saying, "I'm sorry. It's about your husband's tattoo on his back." "Hey, stop it," said the senior physician. I found it difficult to follow what the two were discussing, and the young doctor's remarks particularly drew my attention. "You have discussed the tattoo since earlier. What does that imply?" My question caused their eyes to widen. "Ma'am, the issue is with your husband's enormous devil tattoo on his back. Does it not cover his entire back?" I couldn't contain my shock at the young doctor's surprising response. That explained why Jasper had his own bedrooms. The senior physician explained with a composed look, "I'm sorry for the inconvenience. The procedure proceeded smoothly. Now your spouse is doing okay." "I'm grateful. Can I now speak with my husband?" "Yes, if you could wait for a while." I was informed as much, and after a little wait, I was shown into the treatment area. There, wearing a hospital gown and still unconscious from anesthesia, was Jasper. Jasper made an odd face when he saw me. "Well, you shouldn't have seen what you did. You weren't supposed to see. How come you're not being called?" Because of Jasper's direct demeanor, I was unable to even ask, "Are you okay?" It's possible that Jasper was uncomfortable about being discovered after hiding the tattoo for so long. The devil tattoo across his shoulders was clearly apparent through the medical gown. However, it was hidden on his back. However, what made Jasper believe he could cover over such a massive tattoo? Considering that it was after the operation, I was interested, but I decided to hold off on asking as I felt it could wait. Jasper continued to pout and lowered his head. The young doctor looked at Jasper and me alternatively with a bewildered face and questioned, "Aren't you going to say anything to your husband?" In a situation like this, I had no idea what to say. Jasper then raised his voice. "Elizabeth, please go home if you don't have any business here. I don't like how it feels like a wake because of your sad look. Get out of here immediately if you understand it." The young doctor cocked his head and furrowed his brow at the way Jasper was speaking. Maybe the doctor was really curious about if we were a couple. "Well, there's not much I can do here, so I'm going home now," I finally remarked, following Jasper's instructions and leaving the hospital. Reluctant to go back home straight immediately, I made the decision to eat out on the way back. A man yelled out to me from behind as I was leaving the restaurant. "Elizabeth." Turning around, I noticed Ben standing there, the attending physician who had previously treated Jasper. Appearing to be headed home after work, Ben was wearing a suit. "Hello, I appreciate your prior help." Just as I was ready to thank Ben for the operation today, he seemed to intervene. "I thought Jasper had such a good wife, but it seems there's something fishy going on." It seems that Jasper and Ben had been acquainted for some time. "What do you mean?" "Please, for my candor, but after seeing you, I sensed something wasn't quite right. Usually a husband's wife would go with him to the emergency room if he passes out at work. Isn't that right?" I added, "I'm sorry if we caused any inconvenience to the hospital," believing that I had put the facility in danger. But Ben only shook his head at what I said and went on. "No, that isn't how it is. Simply said, you didn't seem to be aware of his tattoo." It seems that Ben was aware of Jasper's tattoo. Curious, I asked him for further information. Ben disclosed that Jasper and he were middle school friends. Evidently, Jasper had a reputation for being a real troublemaker, going about on motorbikes with his group since the 6th grade. Jasper was not a regular student at the institution. Presumably to scare others, he had a big demon tattooed on his back. As president of the student council at the time, Ben was unable to put up with his classmates' misbehavior. Our freshman year class was the same. Though we weren't very close, Jasper wasn't meant to be a horrible man from the beginning, Ben remarked, as if hoping to salvage some dignity from the initially serious Jasper. After that, Ben joined the group of dangerous boys Jasper was hanging out with and made a valiant effort to persuade Jasper to reconsider. Jasper, kindly attend the school. In front of the group of nasty males, Ben pleaded with Jasper, get out of these fellows. But in the end, Jasper's group severely defeated Ben. Nevertheless, Jasper ultimately attended school afterward and even continued to high school, suggesting that Ben's efforts had been worthwhile. I was really shocked since I was unaware of Jasper's history. Although it appears that Jasper has forgotten about me, it's encouraging to learn that he has managed to change his ways and resume his work with diligence. But it's not that simple dealing with you, his recently wed wife. Even strangers can see that Jasper and I don't have a typical marriage. It makes me feel ashamed and embarrassed to think about it. The idea that even complete strangers can discern that our marriage is unique absolutely embarrasses me. When I said that, Ben gave me a little shake of his head. No, you are not the unique one. Jasper seems to be ignoring you in some manner. I began to feel the same way as soon as he said it. I felt like I could tell Ben anything, for some reason. Is it that he's a physician? Does he provide similar assistance to the families of his patients? I felt a little guilty about it now that I thought about it. Ben, I apologize for involving you in our personal affairs. Oh, don't worry. I'm speaking to you today as a fellow human being rather than as a medical professional. Even though I used to confront Jasper for his inappropriate behavior, I can now forgive him for something else. I was having trouble understanding Ben's statements at the time. An alternative explanation? I inquired, to which Ben gave a bashful smile in return. Let's set that aside for the time being. Please feel free to discuss anything with me if you ever find yourself perplexed about Jasper. I may be of use in some manner. Ben listened to me sympathetically, and I started to feel like I could confide in him. I reasoned that if I told him about my present predicament, he would be able to assist me in finding solutions, because he was well versed in Jasper's background. I filled him in on everything that had happened since I first met Jasper. With a serious expression on his face, Ben listened intently and silently. Something doesn't seem right. When Jasper met with you, what was going through his mind? I'm not really sure about his feelings, I said, my eyes starting to well up with tears. I discovered that I wasn't happy with my life after having a conversation with someone. I got it. For now, just give it to me, Ben responded. I felt bad for bothering others with this situation, but I was thrilled that I could not help but rely on Ben's generosity. I decided, with Ben's help, that I would find a way to handle the unclear situation with Jasper. I went to Jasper's hospital room first thing the next morning. I wanted to talk to Jasper since Ben had told me that his postoperative status was stable, but even when I visited, Jasper refused to look into my eyes and continued to face the window. But I was desperate to find out, so I questioned, "Why did you remain silent until now?" It was inevitable that the tattoo would eventually become visible due to its size. Were you going to keep it under wraps until you got married? Jasper became quiet when I asked. Subsequently, he whispered, "Because I thought you'd run away from me too." "What do you mean?" I challenged him. Jasper started to discuss his previous relationships with women. Jasper claims that every woman he dated ended their relationship with him the moment they saw his tattoo. Jasper sees me as a kind young man who puts in a lot of effort in his work. That he had a huge demon tattoo on his back was unimaginable. The terrifying creature atop his back appeared to be a member of a sinister group. Up until middle school, you were the only one on the incorrect road, correct? When you made a change in your life, why didn't you remove the tattoo? Upon questioning him, Jasper gave me a stern look and angrily exclaimed, "I just didn't want this tattoo off." Why not? Jasper didn't appear to want to respond when I asked him the truth. Jasper, though, had the opposite effect on me. Ignore that. How did you find out about my days in middle school? I don't recall ever discussing that with you. I learned about your middle school days from the person who was the student council's leader back then. Is that Ben? Jasper seems to recall Ben. But why did he keep silent, even though he recognized Ben? Why didn't you express gratitude even once? Did he not aid in your reformation? Jasper cocked his head in perplexity as I asked him a question. What do you mean to say? I made a fresh start since one of my friends passed away in a motorbike accident. I made the decision to give up riding bikes and live a straighter life in order to live longer for him. I got this tattoo with him, sort of as a keepsake. Even after Jasper explained the tattoo's true meaning, I was still not quite satisfied with his explanation. Ben persevered in helping you change even when your buddies opposed it. You're terrible for acting as though it doesn't matter. Give up talking. Why do you continue to support Ben? Are you harboring feelings for him in any way? When Jasper came up to me, I didn't feel bad at all. Ultimately, Jasper has no grounds for jealousy, as long as we maintain such an unusual marital dynamic. It was time for me to make things clear, so I went straight to Jasper and said, "Don't you like me? What was the reason behind our marriage in the first place?" Jasper didn't seem to know what to say. I fixed my gaze on his, wanting a definitive response. Well, spit it out. So, over the past 2 to 3 years, I lost both of my parents, and now there's no one to help with household chores. In order to have someone to do that for me, I reasoned that I needed to be married. When I discovered the real reason he married me, I was taken aback. I felt like I was done talking about it, so I walked out of the hospital room. Ben was standing there when I got out. Telling me that Jasper shouldn't overhear our chat, he led me to the lobby. It worked out just how I had anticipated. Should we carry out the strategy now? Yes. I decided to put into action what Ben had suggested, considering the worst-case scenario. It was 2 weeks later. Jasper's discharge is taking place today. But I haven't even been to Jasper's hospital room once since. For the past 2 weeks, I've been quite busy at work, despite hearing that he was being released. As the company's acting president, I had a number of tasks to complete while Jasper was in the hospital. Jasper will need to recuperate at home, even after being released from the hospital. As a result, I started preparing meals for the entire day in the morning and worked through the evening. Jasper and I have had fewer in-person interactions and have grown even more distant during his hospital stay. We've had less arguments, but for the task I'm working on right now, I'd like not to have to deal with Jasper. Jasper returned to the firm about a month after being released, his health having improved considerably. He was shocked to see the significant alterations that had occurred as soon as he walked in. From the back office, I watched the scenario stealthily. What's happening? Everything is gone, including the workers' workstations and the production equipment. Workers heard the astonishment in Jasper's voice and came over to talk to him. Thank you for everything you've done for us. What's going on? Unable to process what was happening, Jasper glanced around nervously. The staff looked at each other, recalling what they saw on Jasper, maybe not sure who should break the news. Actually, our business and Devon Industries merged at the same location. We are going to get re-employed there tomorrow. What? I was unaware of this until now. The news of the merger startled Jasper, whose voice reverberated across the whole workplace. I entered the room in front of everyone, feeling that the moment had come. Oh, Jasper, I apologize so much. I couldn't tell you sooner since it was an impromptu choice. What? How were you able to? This merger is a significant matter. Therefore, it makes obvious that the president, that is me, should be consulted first, right? Jasper's cheeks reddened with frustration. Well, that's true, but unfortunately, things have gotten complicated. I said as much and showed Jasper a picture. A former employee who had just left the organization took this picture of Jasper sneaking around the men's changing area. It made his enormous demon tattoo on his back quite visible. Before quitting the firm, the worker who took the picture inquired with other staff members because he believed the president could be involved in some unscrupulous activity. And now, there is mistrust among all of the staff members here regarding you. Beyond his tattoo problem, there are more factors. Since we were married, Jasper has actually been leaving all the stressful processes at work to me, and he has been surreptitiously leaving the firm to gamble during working hours. I was already aware of it since the neighbors had provided eyewitness accounts. Jasper was changing in the changing room when the former employee snapped this picture, which shows him doing it alone. It turns out that the employee's delay owing to personal problems is what led to the gathering of the evidence. The other staff members announced their intention to resign after knowing everything. I made the decision to tell everyone about the merger at that very moment. A worker turned to Jasper and said, "We can't go on with someone like you. You behave selfishly by assigning your wife all of the labor. Furthermore, getting a large, eye-catching tattoo on your back casts doubt on your moral character as a business leader." Every staff member in the vicinity nodded in agreement. Jasper sounded off, looking pale, and said, "No, that's not it." The worker said, "More than that, you who can't even respect your wife, you can't lead so many people." Ben walked into the room at that point. "Ben, why did you travel so far to get here? It's not your concern," remarked Jasper. Ben answered, "No, it's all very much my business. I'm the one who recommended combining this place with our company." "What the hell?" Jasper was surprised. As it happens, Ben's brother serves as the CEO of Devon Industries, the firm with whom we are merging, making Devon Industries the family business of Ben. Ben realized that Jasper was a bad president in addition to a bad spouse, and that I shouldn't remain with him any longer. Because of his carelessness, Ben had to deal with both home and work, so he devised a strategy. Jasper realized he may lose everything and found himself in a difficult situation. He was acting submissively toward Ben now. "May I discuss something with you? Might I also be able to join the company?" Jasper inquired. Everyone surrounding Jasper shot him a skeptical look. With a sigh, Ben put a hand on Jasper's shoulder. "Then, there's no need for everyone to leave this firm. It's also past time for you to let Elizabeth go. She deserves better than you." Jasper turned to face me as soon as he heard Ben say this. "Elizabeth, are you saying you want to leave me? If you're not here, how am I expected to survive?" "I'm not the kind of person who could maintain an unimportant relationship like this." I shot back, looking imploringly at Jasper. "I'm not your maid or mother, just so you know. When you're living alone, you have to learn how to look after yourself." With a stern voice, I replied, stopping Jasper cold. I gave Jasper the divorce papers during the quiet, hoping to bring the proceedings to a close. I made the decision to take Ben's advice and apply for a hospital position as a caregiver. Now that I knew I could support myself, I said to Jasper, "Let's get divorced." Jasper responded right away. "Split up? No, just give it a minute. I can't live on my own without a job, even if it's all right with you." "Jasper, you think only about yourself while disregarding the other person's feelings," I forcefully said. "You need to calm your thoughts and spend some time by yourself." Ben angrily reprimanded Jasper, giving my statements more authority. Jasper appeared stunned, shaky, and unable to reply. As a result, the divorce was finalized, and I left the home. I decided to remain in an apartment close to the hospital and started working as a caretaker. I felt happy to be rid of the challenging existence I had with Jasper, even if I was a little disheartened after turning 40. I concentrated on living a self-sufficient existence and working hard. After the divorce, Jasper stayed to live alone in the house. After the firm combined with Devon Industries, all of the staff left, and Jasper's old office was turned into an empty lot. Jasper was unemployed, but he still owned his home. But even in the late hours of the night, I frequently heard yelling and loud voices coming from his residence. I found out that Jasper was living with a new lady when I asked the neighbors. After our breakup, it appears he immediately found a new girlfriend, although their relationship wasn't happy. Since Jasper was unemployed and unclean, he delegated all household duties to his new partner. Due to her discontent, the woman and her partner had frequent conflicts, which caused noisy disturbances in the area. Glass shattering and objects being hurled were among the loud noises. It seems that Jasper was also called out for his hidden tattoos, which had been found out. After someone finally reported the ongoing disruptions to the authorities, Jasper was given the order to leave the property. I frequently see Jasper at the park, wrapped in a cardboard box, most likely from his ongoing job search. It will be far more difficult for him to acquire employment without a fixed residence. I'll just turn aside and ignore him if he calls out to me, but I don't anticipate that this will be an issue for very long. I've received recognition for my efforts as a caregiver at the hospital, and my pay has considerably improved since I finished my training. I think they took my 20-plus years of experience into consideration. In addition, I just purchased a car and relocated to a new apartment. Moving is essential for commuting, particularly while working nights. This implies that unless something strange occurs, I'm less likely to run into Jasper, the homeless man. At work, I see Ben a lot. I feel like I've really rediscovered my genuine self and have a more optimistic outlook on life as a result of him. Ben is unmarried at the moment and has also gone through a divorce. Many coworkers believe that Ben and I should be together, but I'm happy where I am in life right now, and I think Ben, with his easygoing attitude, feels the same way. Although I don't see us being romantically involved again, I cherish our friendship and find our job to be enjoyable. At this point in life, finding a companion with whom you can talk about anything is unusual.